The Oklahoma City Thunder entered Game 5 of the 2025 NBA Western Conference Finals with a chance to close out the series and punch their ticket to the NBA Finals. The Minnesota Timberwolves, facing elimination, knew they had to deliver their best performance to extend the series. However, what unfolded inside Paycom Center was a showcase of Oklahoma City's championship-caliber execution. From start to finish, the Thunder controlled the tempo, outmaneuvered Minnesota defensively, and delivered a commanding 124-94 victory, securing a 4-1 series win. Shai Gilgeous Alexander, proving why he was named Western Conference Finals MVP, led the charge with 31 points, 8 assists, and 7 rebounds, controlling the game with his relentless drives and pinpoint distribution. Chet Holmgren, once again proving his two-way versatility, posted 22 points and 7 rebounds, while Jalen Williams contributed 17 points and 8 rebounds, rounding out a well-balanced attack. Minnesota, meanwhile, struggled with consistency. Anthony Edwards, despite his efforts, finished with 19 points on 6 for 17 shooting, unable to find an offensive rhythm against Lou Dort and Alex Caruso's suffocating defense. Julius Randle, aiming to provide a secondary scoring punch, put up 22 points, but his efficiency was inconsistent, and Oklahoma City's interior defense limited his effectiveness. Throughout the game, the Timberwolves committed 21 turnovers, giving Oklahoma City multiple opportunities to capitalize in transition. Welcome to Jintatski Sports, your spot for all things sports. From legendary moments and big-time plays to inspiring stories and deep dives, we bring you the content that keeps the game alive. If you love sports as much as we do, hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. Oklahoma City wasted no time asserting its dominance in the opening quarter. Gilgeous Alexander dictated the pace, slicing through Minnesota's defense and creating high-quality looks for his teammates. Holmgren was immediately active, blocking shots inside and stretching Minnesota's defense with his outside shooting. The Timberwolves, on the other hand, started ice cold, missing shots, committing turnovers, and struggling to establish offensive sets. Edwards, swarmed by defenders, struggled to generate separation, while Randle's post touches were disrupted by Holmgren's length. As the first quarter ended, the Thunder had built a commanding 26-9 lead, forcing Minnesota into an early hole. As the second quarter unfolded, Oklahoma City continued piling on the pressure. Williams and Gilgeous Alexander pushed the pace in transition, while Holmgren remained a disruptive force in the paint. Minnesota attempted to respond, relying on Randle for scoring, but turnovers continued to plague them. With Edwards struggling to convert shots, the Timberwolves found themselves scrambling for offensive solutions. Oklahoma City extended their lead to 65-32 at halftime, a margin that left Minnesota needing a near-perfect second half to stay alive. The third quarter was Minnesota's last stand, but Oklahoma City never wavered. Edwards briefly caught fire, attacking the rim and knocking down tough jumpers. But the Thunder answered each Minnesota run with efficient scoring of their own. Gilgeous Alexander continued orchestrating the offense, delivering precise assists and keeping the Thunder's ball movement fluid. McDaniels and Alexander Walker tried to inject some life into the Timberwolves' offense, but OKC's defensive rotations remained sharp. By the end of the third, the Thunder held an 88-62 lead, effectively sealing the game with 12 minutes to go. The fourth quarter was a final act in Oklahoma City's dominant performance. Holmgren and Williams continued delivering, while Gilgeous Alexander put the finishing touches on his stellar night with clutch baskets and well-timed defensive plays. Edwards fought until the end, but his efforts couldn't undo the damage already inflicted by the Thunder's relentless pace and execution. As the buzzer sounded, Oklahoma City celebrated their 124-94 victory, officially securing their place in the 2025 NBA Finals. Oklahoma City's dominant Game 5 victory solidified their status as legitimate title contenders. The Thunder's balanced defensive attack was their biggest weapon, with Gilgeous Alexander, Holmgren, and Williams all contributing efficiently. Their defensive versatility, particularly in neutralizing Edwards, allowed them to dictate the game's pace. Despite their success, Oklahoma City showed occasional defensive lapses, particularly in switching assignments. Their bench production was inconsistent, as their scoring largely came from the starting lineup. Moving forward, Oklahoma City must refine their defensive rotations, ensuring they eliminate any gaps that could be exploited by elite offensive teams. Expanding Holmgren's offensive role should be a focal point, as his ability to stretch the floor will create additional mismatches. The Thunder's biggest threat in the NBA Finals is their reliance on Gilgeous Alexander for playmaking. If opposing defenses successfully limit his touches, Oklahoma City must prove they can generate offense through secondary options. As they prepare for the NBA Finals, Oklahoma City must focus on maintaining defensive discipline while ensuring their bench provides consistent contributions. Holmgren's offensive integration should continue to expand, giving the Thunder more versatility against their final opponent. Minnesota's season ended on a disappointing note, but their playoff performance revealed both strengths and weaknesses that they must address moving forward. The Timberwolves showed resilience throughout the series, with Edwards proving himself as a cornerstone for the future. Their bench provided critical depth earlier in the series, but in Game 5, their impact was minimal and Minnesota struggled to find secondary scoring behind Edwards and Randle. Despite flashes of brilliance, turnovers and offensive stagnation hurt Minnesota. The lack of ball movement forced Edwards into difficult shots, as Oklahoma City's defenders collapsed on him. Minnesota's 21 turnovers were a major factor in their loss, with Oklahoma City converting them into fast break points. Looking ahead, Minnesota needs to refine its offensive structure, ensuring Edwards has more freedom to operate without facing constant double teams. Improving ball movement and spacing will be critical in maximizing scoring efficiency, while strengthening interior defense and rebounding should be another key focus. Minnesota's biggest threat moving forward is their offensive predictability. If they fail to address their tendency to rely solely on Edwards, opponents with strong defensive schemes will continue to expose their weaknesses. Heading into the offseason, Minnesota must prioritize adding a secondary playmaker to alleviate pressure on Edwards. Strengthening frontcourt depth will also be essential to improving their overall defensive presence. Game 5 was an emphatic statement victory for the Thunder, proving they are ready for the grand stage of the NBA Finals. Minnesota, despite moments of resilience, fell victim to turnovers, offensive struggles, and Oklahoma City's defensive intensity. With the Western Conference title secured, the Thunder now turn their focus toward their next challenge, whether it be the Indiana Pacers or the New York Knicks, while the Timberwolves head into the offseason with difficult questions about how to evolve for future playoff battles. Thanks for watching Jintatski Sports. If that video hit home or gave you something to think about, drop a like and let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories that bring the heart of sports to life. Until next time, stay inspired and keep chasing greatness.